Date 3rd of January 1867. Prisoner Thomas Beaumont, aged 47. Crime garrotting and robbing Abraham Dickinson of Batley near Dewsbury. Sentence 5 years in prison. Punishment 24 lashes. Report. The criminal was first strapped to a triangle of wood. The officer used a new cat-o'-nine-tails whip, a whip with 9 strands and 3 hard knots at the end of each strand. Beaumont took the first stroke in silence. After the second, he cried out in pain, and after the third, he cried, "Oh dear me!" As the blows followed quickly, his cries grew louder. After 12 strokes, his back began to show marks from the lashing. By the end of the lashing, he was screaming for mercy. And you thought detention was bad? If the Victorians had a favourite subject, then it was death. They liked nothing better than the story of suffering, heartbreak, tragedy and cruelty. The trouble is, it's not just the subjects that were painful. The writing was pretty bad too. The Victorian ballad writers were probably the world's worst poets. They had no television or radio or CDs. How did they entertain themselves at home? The middle classes would buy a piano, learn to play it and sing songs. But some of them were hardly cheerful. Take a song like "That Is Love." The words go like this. See the father standing at his cottage door, watching the baby in the gutter rolling o'er. Laughing at his merry pranks, but hark, a roar! Help, oh help in gracious heavens above! Dashing down the road there comes a maddened horse. Out the father rushes with resistless force, saves the child but lies there, a mangled corpse. That is love. That is love. It is also a squidgy mess in the middle of the road. Of course, orphans were always good for a tearful story. Little children who have lost their mothers and have been told they've gone to heaven. That's the story behind the dreadful, "Shall I be an angel, Daddy?" One day a father to his little son told a sad story, a heart-breaking one. He took from an album a photo and said, "This is your mother, but she's been long dead. You she has left me to cherish and love. She is an angel, my child, up above." The boy in an instant drew close to his side, and these are the words that he softly replied. "Shall I be an angel, Daddy? An angel in the sky? Will I wear the golden wings and rest in peace on high? Shall I live forever and ever with the angels fair? If I go to heaven, oh tell me, Daddy, will I see Mother there?" But the worst poet ever was the Scotsman William McGonagle. Most students of English agree that the Scottish poet William McGonagle was probably the worst poet ever to publish in the English language. It wasn't just the way he mangled words, it was the awful subjects he wrote about. McGonagle told the stories of real tragedy. The title of this one is "Truly Sad, Calamity in London, Family of 10 Burned to Death." But the poem is truly, hilariously bad. Oh heaven, it was a frightful and pitiful sight to see! 7 bodies charred of the Jarvis family, and Mrs. Jarvis found with her child, and both carbonized. And as the searchers gazed thereon, they were surprised. And these were lying beside the fragments of the bed, and in the chair the 10th victim was sitting dead. Oh horrible! Oh horrible! What a sight to behold! The charred and burnt bodies of young and old. Frightful, pitiful, and horrible. And that's just McGonagle's poetry. But his most famous was the Tay Bridge disaster. In December 1879, a train was crossing the Tay Bridge in a storm when the bridge collapsed. 79 passengers were catapulted into the dark, icy waters of the Tay below. The only survivor was McGonagle's dreadful poem about the affair. Beautiful railway bridge on the silvery Tay. Alas, I am very sorry to say that 90 lives have been taken away on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered for a very long time. So the train moved slowly along the bridge of Tay until it was about midway. Then the central girders with a crack gave way, and down went the train and passengers into the Tay. It must have been an awful sight to witness in the dusky moonlight. I must now conclude my lay by telling the world fiercely without the least dismay. For the stronger we our bridges do build, the less chance we have of being killed on the last Sabbath day of 1879, which will be remembered for a very long time.